morning, Big Brother fans. It is September 19th, day 74 in the Big Brother house. We have a new head of household. Matter of fact, we've had two head of household since I talked to you, of course, because last night was the double eviction. All right, so strategy-wise, there isn't much to tell. It's pretty much just a recounting of facts. As I think I predicted on here, if not I did online, first of all, we can skip through a good first 40 minutes of the show because it was all recaps and setting up and going over the relationship between Vince and Morgan and the hugging and the uncomfortableness and whatever it was. They got through all of that, and then they did the blockbuster competition. And strategy-wise, if you want to talk about strategy, Lauren played the best strategy. And that was, remember, for those of you who hadn't heard yesterday's or the my second podcast yesterday, you run down a ramp, dive into a hot tub of popcorn, packing popcorn, fish out some rubber bouncing balls, run back up the ramp, or back up the stairs to this platform and lean over a rail and drop the balls into a tube. And these are kickball size balls, not little tennis balls. And the first person to get 4 in the tube won. And my prediction yesterday was it's very possible someone gets very lucky and zones in on how to do it right away, and they kind of run away with it. And that person was Lauren this time. Lauren got like 3 out of the first 4 or 5 that she did. Kelly and Keanu both only had 1 by the end. Lauren won. But I think maybe Kelly got a second one. I'm not even sure. But they only had 1, at most 2, whereas Lauren had all 4 of hers. Now, the difference was, that I could see, Lauren used 2 hands every time. She would lean all the way over, have her 2 hands, both sides of the ball, and then let it drop. Keanu, for the most part, was doing 1 hand, lean over, and let go with 1 hand. Now, that may have given him a slight advantage as far as he could be a little bit closer to the actual tube, a little bit lower down because he could angle his shoulder one way. However, it also means you're holding a ball with 1 point of release versus 2, and you can't be sure that when you let go, you're letting go evenly, so the ball could kind of drift one way or the other, if that makes sense. Whereas Lauren had it clamped on both sides and would let go, and it would just drop straight. That's my interpretation, is that the holding it from 1 hand, you can't be sure that you're holding it directly in the center with 1 hand. And so when you let go, the ball is going to drop at a slight angle more than likely and not drop straight. That's my deep analysis of that competition. So Lauren won the competition, left it at Keanu versus Kelly. Ended up being a tie vote with Ashley and Morgan both voting out Keanu and Ava and Lauren voting out Kelly. I think. It doesn't even matter. It was a tie vote, 2-2. Vincent had to break it. Vincent voted out Kelly. Kelly went out saying Vincent had a ton of final 2s with her and other people and yada yada. She promised she was going to go out, in a ball of fire or whatever. It was fine. She had a good interview with Julie where she admitted she's totally irritating, and so she's and she defended her volunteering for the block. It was what it was. Fast forward then to the head of household competition. The mastermind announced it was a double. They were not shocked at all. They were at the backyard. They looked at, basically it was a Where's Waldo scene, except for it was a Where's Mastermind, right? So they saw pictures of themselves from various points in the show, and they had to find the mastermind hidden in the pictures. And they were all doing really well till the end, when they missed a couple, when most of them missed a couple of the pictures. And so it's the standard 7 questions, right? So 7 pictures. And in the end, Keanu and Morgan ended up tied. And so they had to do the tiebreaker. The tiebreaker, as it usually is, was a thing where they had to count up a number. Whether it's how many things, how much of this way. In this case, it was how many seconds did the wall competition last. That was the gist of it. The wall competition lasted over an hour. like an hour and, I don't know, an hour and 20 minutes or whatever it was. You'll figure it out in just a second when I tell you. The answer was in seconds. So, of course, 60 seconds in a minute. So you got to multiply 60 times however many minutes you think it was. So how many minutes did Keanu guess? Well, Keanu guessed 1,800, I think. Is that what he guessed? Whatever he guessed like a half hour. Wrong. They had to have known it was over an hour. Right then, it's over an hour. That's 60 minutes. That's 6 times 6 is 36. That's 3,600. I mean, that's the level of math that these guys apparently can't do. Well, Keanu did his math if he thought it was only 30 minutes, but I can't believe he thought it was only 30 minutes. Morgan was late getting hers in to the point where Julie was saying, I need an answer. And in the end, she only wrote 120. She looked like she was flustered. She was thinking, I think she meant to write, and she claimed she meant to write more than that, like 1,200. Still wouldn't have been near enough. I just don't know. People thought, did she throw it? No, she didn't throw it. Because if she was throwing the competition to Keanu to let him win the Power Veto and stay, because, I'm sorry, Morgan had nominated, I forgot this part, Morgan had nominated Keanu and Ava. And so that was Morgan nominated Keanu and Lauren. There we go. That's who was nominated, Keanu and Lauren. Then they did the Power Veto competition. Oh, I skipped the head of household. Sorry. All right, rewind here. We're not fixing this. We're not restarting. They did I jumped ahead to the Power Veto competition. Morgan won the head of household competition. It was a ball rolling competition where you rolled a ball up onto a platform. The first person to get, I think, 5 balls on the platform was the head of household. That was Morgan. Morgan nominated Lauren and Keanu. Neither of them were surprised. Then we went to the Power Veto, which was the Where's Waldo, find the mastermind in the pictures, and this is the one that Keanu won in the tiebreaker. And no, I do not think Morgan threw it to let Keanu save himself. I don't think Morgan didn't want it. I think she would have been happy to win the Power Veto and leave things the same, or maybe she would have tried to put up Ava on her own. I'm not sure, but I don't think she threw it. Which is what happened. Keanu saved himself. Morgan put up Ava because she wasn't going to put up Ashley or Vince. I can't remember if everybody else is in the house at this point. That's where we're at mentally. And so it was Lauren versus Ava. It was Ashley and Keanu voting out Lauren. And Vincent voted out Ava, even though he knew that Lauren was going. So Lauren went out 2-1, and we're down to the final 5. End of show. Lauren talked to Julie. The mastermind, I may have said things aren't over yet, I'm not sure, but whatever. And then they had the guest celebrity host for tonight's Unlocked come out. This is where I start to show some of my weaknesses when it comes to my Big Brother knowledge. This guy that came out is apparently a super fan. I may have known this. In the back reaches of my mind, now that I say it, I may have known it. But he didn't follow me on Twitter, so why would I be a fan of his? I'm joking, kind of. But James Gunn, who lots of people said, who's that? Well, he is kind of a big thing. He's kind of a very big writer, director, Guardians of the Galaxy fame, the most recent Superman movie. Lots and lots of credits to his name, and is apparently a very big Brother fan. He said, talking to Julie, that Taylor reached out to him on Instagram and asked him to come on, and that's why he was there. So he will be on tonight's Unlocked, which was recorded last night. He's also on Blue Sky, for those of you that are interested. I added him, not that he's going to do anything. I did not. Did I follow him? I may have followed him too, just to see. But I don't anticipate that he's going to follow me back or anything. And he may not even be him using the Blue Sky, because he is on Twitter, he is on Instagram, But he is also on Blue Sky, and he was active within an hour of the show, or at least his account was active within an hour of the show. So that's a positive. It's not just a dead account that someone created and never came back to and used. Now, he may be using a program that posts to all 3 accounts at the same time or whatever. You never know. But James Gunn interviewed, talked to Julie, will be on tonight's show. He was obviously knowledgeable. He isn't a real fan, although some of what he said was a bit, felt like he was saying it just to please them, but he did know his stuff, and I do think he's a fan. I don't think he's a super hardcore fan as he may as may be portrayed, but I do think he is a fan of the show. All right, so the show ended. The feeds actually came back within about 15 minutes of the end of the show. The feeds came back. That's the first time I believe the feeds have come back before midnight. So it was like, whoa, we thought we weren't going to get to see we heard it was going to be an endurance competition, but we were not pre-warned about this. And so when we heard it, we're like, oh, and we aren't even going to get to see it. Well, they said, the Instagram post says, you're going to get to see the endurance competition. I was like, oh, thanks for communicating with us, CBS. They used to tell us this stuff ahead of time as live feed affiliates, but whatever. So, the Instagram put out that we'd be able to see it, as well as the Pluto TV account. And so we anxiously waited. They gave us about 1 hour of live feeds after the show, where the final 5, because we are down to 5 now, which is Morgan, Vincent, Ashley, Keanu, and Ava. That is your final 5. Those 5 talked about things. I don't care. They rehashed things. It was fine. There was no big revelations during that I can think of. But then the feeds went down, and then the feeds came back. I think it was around midnight. It may have been a little bit earlier than that, I'm not sure. But it turned out that the 4 house guests that could compete, because Morgan couldn't, were in the have-not room. But the have-not room had been transformed into a mastermind's lair. His office, maybe. His library. I don't know. The room was full of candles. It was very dark. They were standing in kind of around a podium that had a mastermind's face. They had little mastermind face discs that they were holding pressed up against this central column with swords. Right. So it's the variation on the pressure cooker where they use a pole to hold something instead of their fingers. I don't remember if it was the first season, but I can remember when Heath Ledger from Big Brother, talked about it, that it was it was kind of a pressure cooker. It sometimes meant that they didn't have to last as long. Although last year they did it, and it was 10 hours, and Leah won it, right? This year it did not last 10 hours. It lasted maybe an hour and a half, maybe an hour and 40 minutes. And yeah, because it was about 10:30, because it's about 1:30 a.m. I was like, all right, I'm going to bed. And right then it ended. So how did it go? Ava was out within the first 20 minutes. By the way, Morgan was not in the room or allowed in the room. She was out in the living room making food, and she could watch it on the screen. She could not hear them talking. She could only see them. And but we didn't know at first that it was in the have-not room. We kind of figured it out. All of us figured it out at once, because Ava was the first one to drop. And after Ava dropped, the feeds went down, but they came back within a few minutes, and when they came back, Ava was already in the house, and it was like, wait, that was quick. How did she get back in the house? And it was like, wait a minute. I think they're in the have-not room. That's when we realized we could see the door behind Ashley. It was like, that's the have-not room. They've transformed it, which the feeds have been down several times for several hours in the last few days. And because people are like, how do they do that? Do they have 2 doors in the head household room or in the have-not room? They may have a second door, but I think in reality, they just did this all while they had the house guests on lockdown the last few days on a couple of different occasions. I mean, it wouldn't take much to haul everything out of the have-not room, to maybe slap up a coat of paint or just drape things on the wall and then put a bunch of candles. It's very easy to dress a room to make it look differently for TV purposes. They don't have to be perfect. If they can't show all the different camera angles, they can only show parts of it. They've done that before. All right, so Ava was the first one out. maybe 15, 20 minutes. She said it was really hard on her arms, much harder than if it would just been holding a button. Next to go was Ashley. About 15 minutes later, Ashley went out. So then it came down to just Keanu and Vince. And Keanu and Vince were laughing and joking, and apparently Big Brother may have said we're gonna make it even more difficult in a bit. But they were like, let's just get right to the difficult part. And both of them, at least for some period of time, stood on one foot while they were holding their stuff. I said I thought Vincent would throw it to Keanu, but then it turned out Vincent wasn't going to throw it to Keanu. He told Keanu, you can throw it to me. So Vincent, in his over-paranoia, which he has been quite paranoid, was worried about losing it, and so he didn't give up. Vince wasn't giving up. They were talking. Vince was very relaxed. I said that I thought that Keanu was very relaxed. I thought Vincent's going to throw it to Keanu, or if Keanu goes, it's because he makes a stupid mistake. And he did. He got relaxed. And suddenly, out of the blue, his disc just dropped to the floor, and he went, well, surprise, you're the winner, or something like that. That was it. And it was over. Right about 1:30 a.m. Eastern time, so 11:30 Big Brother time. And that was when I called it quits. Now, what I've picked up since then is it sounds like Vincent is going to nominate Keanu and Ava. And Keanu apparently doesn't think he's going to get nominated, but he's probably going to nominate Keanu and Ava. Not Ashley. Ashley is really getting through on this. She can't possibly win, which I think she's going to struggle to win if she makes it all the way through, because she hasn't turned it on. She hasn't become some super competitor. She can't do squat. And she can, at the end, she can sit and say, I did that all intentionally. But I don't know if people are going to believe her. Now, Rachel and Will may be advocates for her if she makes it to the final two to try to get her votes. But at the same time, I think some of the others will say, she didn't do anything. And pretending you're stupid to get through the game. I don't care that you're an attorney. You didn't do it. I'm not giving it to you. These other people really tried hard, and they should win. That's just my possible guess. All right. So, we are, right now, probably while I'm talking to you, Morgan and Vincent are still awake in the head of household room. They're still up. We'll see if they do a pillow wall again today. And later today, at some point, Keanu will be on the block along with Ava. In theory, Keanu will be blindsided because he's not expecting to go up, but I don't know. And Vincent will probably let him know ahead of time that he's got to do it. I'm not sure. We'll see. And then we get on with the week. That, by the way, is another thing. The week will be shorter than normal. They have announced that it will be a short week. There will be an eviction Wednesday night. We think it'll be a pre-recorded eviction. We think that, we don't know when though, right? We just know that there will be an eviction shown Wednesday night, and they said Thursday we'll do a head of household competition, nominations, power veto competition, and an eviction all in one, shown on one episode. And probably meaning that, it's all going to be back to back, not live. It's not going to be like all in one show. They're just going to recap all of it. But they have to get, in essence, 2 weeks out of 1 week, which means that the power veto competition, the nominations could be early today. They may be, sorry, I am navigating here. The nominations will probably be early, possibly. Then they will maybe do the power veto today. They may wait and do the power veto tomorrow. But either way, things are going to be an accelerated pace, probably. Now watch, I will be wrong, and they will just do up until Monday. They'll have the power veto meeting on Monday. and then they'll do things fast after that. I'm just not sure. But things are likely not going to be a standard way of doing things. And so we may have the feeds down for a long time at some point this coming week too, or week as well. So that's what's up. I'll let you know more maybe tonight. If not, I will probably do something this weekend to let you know what's going on, because I think it will be accelerated. Maybe Power Veto on Sunday. I'm not sure. Thanks all for your support. We are down to 9 days. A week from Sunday is the finale. Thank goodness. And we'll talk to you all later. Thanks again for all your support. Thank you to my patrons. As always, you are very much appreciated. I will give you all individual shout outs within the next week, I promise, because I really do appreciate you. I hope you guys all stay well, and I will talk to you all again later today, maybe, but more than likely sometime this weekend. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Trying to lose weight? It's time to try Hers. At forhers.com/4u, you can access affordable, doctor-trusted weight loss treatments tailored just for you. These include oral medication kits or compounded GLP-1 injections. Through Hers, pricing for oral medication kits start at just $69 a month for a 10-month plan when paid in full up front. No hidden fees, no membership fees. You shouldn't have to go out of your way to feel like yourself. Hers brings expert care straight to you with 100% online access to personalized treatment plans that put your goals first. Reach your weight loss goals with help through Hers. Get started at forhers.com/4u to access affordable, doctor-trusted weight loss plans. That's forhers.com/4u, forhers.com/4u. Paid for by Hims and Hers Health. Weight loss by Hers is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions at forhers.com apply.